In a small village, there lived a midwife called Mama Ebere. She was the one every family called when a woman went into labor. Her hands had delivered more children than anyone could count. Mothers praised her. Fathers trusted her. Even the elders said, "Without Mama Ebere, our children would not fill this village." But Mama Ebere carried a secret that no one knew. In the corner of her hut, covered with a red cloth, was a clay pot. By day, it looked ordinary. By night, when the village was quiet, it moved as though something inside was alive. One night, when the moon was bright and the village slept, Mama Ebere crept into her hut. She placed her lantern close to the pot and sat before it. Slowly, she lifted the red cloth. A bad smell filled the air. The lantern flame bent. Inside the pot were umbilical cords, long and thin, twisted together like worms. Some were black and dry, some were fresh and red. Small placentas clung to them, beating faintly, like weak hearts that refused to stop. Mama Ebere dipped her hand into the pot. The cords reached for her fingers as if they knew her. She pulled one out and pressed it to her lips. Then she whispered, "Child of Ngozi, tonight you will not rest." Far away in the compound, Ngozi's baby suddenly cried out. Her little body went stiff, her tiny hands clenched. Her eyes rolled as though unseen ropes were pulling her. The mother screamed for help. Neighbors rushed out with lanterns, shouting and praying. Then, just as suddenly, the baby gasped, her cry returning. Relief swept through the house. "Thank God," the mother wept, hugging her child. Nobody knew that Mama Ebere was the one holding the child's life in her clay pot. The next morning, the village buzzed with talk of Ngozi's baby. Some said the child had been attacked by spirits in the night. Others said it was ordinary sickness. Mama Ebere came to check the baby, calm and gentle as always. She touched the girl's chest and smiled. "She will be fine. Just keep her warm." The family thanked her, bowing low. Nobody saw the strange glint in her eyes. But someone was curious. Emeka, a young bicycle repairer in the square, had been nearby when Ngozi's baby cried. He carried the lantern for the father that night and saw how quickly Mama Ebere came, how she spoke with such certainty, and how the baby recovered almost at once. How does she always know? He wondered. How can she be so calm when everyone else is afraid? Later that morning, while others went to farm and the compound grew quiet, Emeka walked slowly past Mama Ebere's hut. He did not suspect her. He only wanted to know more about the woman everyone trusted so much. He stopped by the wall of her hut. Through a small crack in the bamboo, he saw the glow of her lantern. He bent down to peep. What he saw froze his body. Mama Ebere sat before the clay pot. The red cloth was gone. The cords inside twisted like snakes, the placentas beating faintly as though alive. The pot gave a low hum, like a drum struck from within. Then a thin voice came from the pot. It was faint, like the sound of wind, yet it formed a name. Obinna. Far away, in another compound, a toddler coughed violently in his sleep. His mother shook him, crying, "Obinna, my son!" The boy kicked once, then went still. Inside the hut, Mama Ebere smiled. She stroked one cord with her fingers and whispered, "Rest." At once, the boy gasped, his chest rising again. His mother wailed with joy. "He lives! He lives!" Emeka's eyes widened. His chest pounded. Was she saving them? Or was she the one causing it? The pot hummed again. Another name began to form. Emeka pressed his eye harder to the crack, his breath stuck in his throat. And then the voice grew louder, clearer. Chisom. Emeka stumbled back. That was the name of his sister's newborn child. He turned and ran, sand biting his feet, while behind him, Mama Ebere's soft laughter floated into the morning air. Emeka ran down the sandy path, his heart pounding. The name he had heard still rang in his ears. Chisom, my sister's son. When he reached his sister Ifeoma's compound, the sun was already high. He pushed through the gate and rushed into the room. Ifeoma was sitting on a low stool, fanning her twins. "Emeka, what is it? Why do you look like you've seen a ghost?" He bent low, staring at the babies. Chisom looked peaceful, sleeping with his lips parted. Relief washed through him. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe the pot never called his name. "I just wanted to check on the children," he said, forcing a smile. Ifeoma laughed softly. "They are fine. Children bring noise, but it is sweet noise." Emeka sat, trying to calm his racing heart. The other twin, Chinaza, yawned and turned, while Chisom began to fuss. Ifeoma lifted him gently, rocking him, but Emeka's eyes narrowed. The child's hands clenched and unclenched. His chest heaved oddly. His eyes rolled back. Then he cried out a sharp, broken cry that sent Ifeoma to her feet. "Eh, what is this?" she shouted. "My son!" Neighbors dropped what they were doing and rushed in. One woman left her firewood at the gate. Another came with soapy hands, apron still tied. The baby stiffened more, his lips trembling. Ifeoma clutched him tightly, tears streaming. "Somebody help me! My baby is going!" "Let me carry him," Emeka said quickly, reaching out. "No! Give him to me!" Ifeoma pulled back, panic wild in her eyes. The crowd began murmuring. "Why is he grabbing the baby like that?" One woman hissed. "He is frightening the mother," another added. "Leave the child. You will make it worse." But Emeka insisted, his voice breaking. "Ifeoma, please, let me try. You are only holding him tighter." Shaking, she finally let him take Chisom. Emeka pressed the child to his chest, rocking, whispering prayers. But the baby's body stayed stiff, his lips turning pale. "See," a neighbor shouted, "the baby is worse now." Another clapped her hands. "Since when did a mechanic become a healer? Give the child back." Ifeoma snatched her son from Emeka, sobbing. "If anything happens to him, Emeka, it will be your fault." The words cut deep. Emeka staggered back, his throat tight. He wanted to scream that something unseen was holding the boy, that this was not ordinary. But no one would believe him. "Go and call Mama Ebere," someone cried. "Quick, before the child dies." A woman ran out, her wrapper flying behind her. Moments later, Mama Ebere entered, calm as water, her leather bag swinging by her side. She walked straight through the crowd to Ifeoma, her face full of quiet authority. "Give him to me," she said simply. Ifeoma obeyed at once, placing the baby in her hands. Mama Ebere bent over Chisom, her lips moving silently. For a moment, the child twitched, then grew still. The entire compound froze, waiting for a cry that did not come. Slowly, the baby's chest rose again. A faint whimper escaped his lips. Relief swept the crowd. "Ah, God bless this woman. She saved him. She is truly sent by heaven." Ifeoma hugged her other twin tightly, tears of joy spilling. She looked at Emeka with anger. "You almost killed my son with your rough hands. If not for Mama Ebere." She shook her head. "Stay away next time." The neighbors nodded. Some spat on the ground. "Foolish boy, he wanted to play doctor." Emeka stood alone, his face burning with shame. Nobody saw what he had seen. Nobody knew what he knew. Mama Ebere handed the child back to Ifeoma. Then she turned and looked at Emeka, and she smiled. The story of how Chisom suddenly fell sick and then recovered spread quickly. By morning, people were thanking God and praising Mama Ebere for saving another life. Without her, that boy would be gone. One woman said at the stream, "She is truly sent from heaven," another agreed. Everywhere Emeka went, he heard people speaking well of the midwife. No one questioned her. No one doubted her. To them, she was the answer to the village's prayers. But in Emeka's heart, unease grew heavier. He could not forget the pot. He could not forget the cords moving like worms, the faint voice calling Chisom's name, and the way the child stiffened the same moment. Yet Mama Ebere had also been the one to bring the boy back. Was she harming them or saving them? He could not understand her intentions. Out. That afternoon, Emeka went to his sister's compound. Ifeoma was sitting on a stool, the twins lying beside her on a mat. They looked peaceful, their small hands twitching as they slept. "They are better today," she said with a smile. "Chisom is eating well. I told you there was no need to worry." Emeka nodded slowly. "That is good." He wanted to tell her what he had seen in Mama Ebere's hut, but the words stuck. If he said it aloud, she might call him mad. She might even run straight to Mama Ebere. So he swallowed his thoughts, his eyes fixed on Chisom. Lent that night, sleep refused to come. Emeka turned from side to side on his mat. The memory of the pot returned, and the hum he had heard seemed to echo inside his head. Finally, he rose and stepped outside. The night was still, the moon partly covered by clouds. His legs carried him toward Mama Ebere's hut, before his mind could stop them. When he reached it, he paused. A thin light leaked through the bamboo wall. His breath caught. Should I look again? Curiosity won. He bent low, peeping through the same crack. Mama Ebere was there, sitting before the clay pot. The red cloth was off. The cords twisted slowly, the placentas beating faintly like soft drums. Then the pot hummed. A name formed from it, Kinetu. Far away, a cry split the night. A mother's voice followed, shrill with panic. Chinedu, somebody help me! Emeka's chest tightened. His mind whirled. Was she killing the children? Or was she the one keeping them alive? He could not make sense of it. Mama Ebere touched one chord and whispered something. The child's cry faded, then rose again, weaker but alive. Relief shouts carried faintly across the village. Emeka staggered back, torn between fear and confusion. He could no longer remain silent. He had to know the truth. The next morning, as the sun rose, Emeka gathered courage. He walked straight to Mama Ebere's hut. She was outside, grinding herbs with calm hands, her wrapper neat around her waist. She looked up at him and smiled as if nothing had happened. "Mama," Emeka said, his throat dry, "there is something I must ask you." Her eyes lingered on him, steady and sharp. "What troubles you, my son?" Emeka's fists clenched. "I know about the pot." The pestle in her hand stopped mid-air. Her smile remained, but her eyes darkened. "Do you now?" The morning was bright, but Emeka's heart was heavy. He stood before Mama Ebere, his fists clenched, his voice still ringing in his ears. "I know about the pot." For a moment, the pestle in her hand hung in the air. Then she set it down gently, wiped her palms on her wrapper, and looked straight at him. Her smile was calm, almost kind. "So your eyes have seen what others must never see." Emeka swallowed. "Why do you keep them? The cords, the placentas? Why do they move? Why do they call names?" Mama Ebere leaned forward, her voice low. "Because every cord is a rope tied to life. Do you think a child is free just because the cord is cut? No, Emeka. The spirit of that cord still breathes. And I keep them safe." Her words chilled him. He remembered the cords twisting like snakes, the faint beating like small hearts that refuse to die. "But children fall sick whenever the pot hums," Emeka said, his voice sharp. "You make them weak." She laughed softly. "And who brings them back? Me? If I burn that pot, every child I have ever delivered will die the same night. Is that what you want, Emeka?" The words struck him like a blow. His knees felt weak. Could it be true? Was she protecting them or enslaving them? Before he could answer, a loud cry came from outside. A woman was running down the path, her wrapper loose, her child limp in her arms. "Help me! Somebody help me!" Emeka rushed out. The boy's body was stiff, his lips pale. A crowd gathered quickly, voices rising. Mama Ebere stepped forward, unhurried. She touched the child's forehead, murmured something under her breath, then closed her eyes. Inside her hut, the clay pot gave a low hum. The child gasped, coughed, then began to cry weakly. Relief swept the crowd. Mothers clapped their hands. Men nodded. "God bless Mama Ebere." Emeka stood among them. His stomach twisted. He had just seen the pot hum, just seen the boy stiffen, yet now everyone praised her as savior. Mama Ebere turned and caught his eye. Her look was steady, almost mocking, as if to say, "Do you see? They will never believe you." That night, Emeka lay on his mat, unable to rest. Her words haunted him. If the pot is destroyed, the children will die. But if it remains, she holds them like goats tied to a rope. He pressed his palms to his face. He could not tell right from wrong anymore. Suddenly, the hum filled his ears again, low, steady, calling. He sat up quickly, his body cold. The sound did not come from his head. It was drifting across the night, faint but clear, carried by the wind. And then, like a whisper from the earth, a name formed, Chinaza. Emeka's blood froze. That was his sister's other twin. He jumped to his feet, his heart pounding. First Chisom, now Chinaza. He knew at once the pot was not finished with his family. Emeka could no longer sleep. The pot had called Chinaza's name, and he knew it was only a matter of time before his sister's second twin stiffened like the first. He rose before dawn, his heart heavy, and walked toward Mama Ebere's hut. This time, he did not peep through a crack. He pushed the door open and stepped inside. The air was thick with a foul smell of blood and smoke. The clay pot sat before her, the red cloth folded neatly beside it. Mama Ebere was already waiting, her eyes glowing in the lantern light, as though she had known he would come. "You should not be here," she said softly. "I have no choice," Emeka replied, his fists trembling. "Tell me the truth. No more games. Why do you keep these cords? Why do you call their names?" Mama Ebere leaned back and let out a low laugh. "Do you still not see, boy? I do not keep the cords because I love them. I keep them because they obey me. Every cord is a leash. Every child whose cord lies in this pot is mine. When I want them weak, they fall. When I want them strong, they rise." Emeka's stomach turned. "So all this time, it was you? You control them, not protect them." Her smile widened. "Yes. And the fools outside call me savior. They fall at my feet, not knowing their children breathe, because I allow it. This village belongs to me, Emeka. Every baby, every family, every future." His knees felt weak, but he clenched his fists tighter. "You are evil. I cannot let this continue." Her eyes narrowed. "If you destroy the pot, the children die instantly, including your sister's twins. Are you ready to kill them with your own hands?" Her words struck like a blade. Emeka's chest heaved. She was right. What if breaking it meant Chisom and Chinaza would die? What if every child in the village collapsed in the same hour? But then he remembered the fear on his sister's face, the way she cried when her son stiffened. He remembered the mothers screaming in the night, begging for help, and he knew the truth. As long as the pot lived, the village would never be free. With a sudden shout, Emeka lunged. He grabbed the pot, ignoring the cords that writhed like snakes against his arms, and smashed it hard against the ground. The clay split with a deafening crack. At once, the cords scattered, slithering across the floor like worms. They crawled over his feet, up the walls, and then burrowed into the earth with a wet hiss. The lantern flickered and almost died. All across the village, cries of children rose at once, loud, piercing, heartbreaking. Mothers screamed, fathers shouted, panic filled the air. Emeka's heart stopped. What have I done? Then, one by one, The cries fell silent. He rushed outside. Mothers were clutching their children, shaking them and then gasping in relief. The children were alive. Their chests rose. Their eyes opened. The village filled with sobs of joy. Emeka sank to his knees, tears streaming. He had done it. The curse was broken. But behind him, Mama Ebere's scream tore through the morning like fire. She stood in the ruins of her hut, her eyes wild, her hair loose around her face. "You fool!" she shrieked. "Do you think you have freed them? The cords are not gone. They have only gone back to the earth. From now on, every child born in this village will not belong to their mother. They will belong to the soil itself." Her laughter was sharp, rising higher and higher until it blended with a cry of crows circling above. Emeka's skin turned cold. The villagers held their children tight, their eyes wide with new fear. The pot was gone, but the curse had only changed its shape. So the pot was broken, but the curse did not end. Mama Ebere's laughter still hangs in the air of that village, and mothers now fear the ground beneath their children's feet. Tell me, if your child's life was tied to the soil itself, would you ever feel safe again? Thank you for watching. This is Storytime by Noah